Good people. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, man. We back, man. We gonna do a little bit something special, man. We've been doing this on audio, but we gonna be doing this something special today. We're gonna be do something special today, man. I got guests here, man. We got to have a conversation with Bak and Bak Ball. If y'all don't remember him, man, I don't know what to tell you, man. With no further ado, man, I'm gonna bring on Bak, man. What's good, my guy? I can't hear you. You muted, bro.
Hold up. Can you
Hold
hear
on,
me
there you
now?
go. Yeah, I can hear you. What's
All
happening,
right.
man?
Nothing, man. Just living. Just living.
I, I hear that, man. It's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, but I know a lot has been happening, man, with all the COVID stuff, man. How you holding it down, man? It's tough times, man. How you holding up?
Man, it's been a crazy 2 years if I say it. When the COVID break out, and then I have my personal life too that kind of have issues with it. But it's been right now we're just taking it one day at a time.
Man, that's all you can do, man. There's nothing else you can do. Just take one day at a time, do whatever is best for you and your family. I know you got the family, the kids, and all that, man. Welcome to fatherhood, bro.
Oh my God, that's crazy, man. To be a dad, that's really crazy, man. You never expect that to happen, but you do expect that to happen, but you don't know what's come with being a dad,
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
once
sir. Yes, sir.
it's just like a learning process.
Yeah, man. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for you. I remember we hooped with you for a minute, and I was like, I've always been like, man, I gotta bring my man back on the show, man, because I know you have a good story, man. But man, how did you start even like how do you even get into basketball, man? I know you read a story. You're playing soccer, you're moving around. How do you even get in the game of basketball, man?
I mean, I gotta tell you though, it's like an African thing. All African people play soccer, man. So soccer comes first, and then basketball comes second. And
Yeah,
if you ask anybody that, I mean, if you ask any African person who's a basketball player, at some point they play soccer.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so when I was in Kenya, soccer was like a big thing. So so basketball just kind of came when I actually got a scholarship to go to high school.
Yeah, and I know,
So
man.
that's
It's crazy. It's crazy. I didn't even know you went to Kamusinga, man. It's crazy. I didn't even know you went to Kamusinga.
I know we had a good run. We had a good run, man, and we got whooped by Laser Hill.
Laser. You guys were those things were stacked back then, like Laser Hill, Kamusinga, man. Laser. Who beat you, Omari? Who beat you at Laser Hill?
Ah,
You remember
man,
any of the players?
man, they got big boys there at that time. Oh my God! I mean, they're not tall. They're not tall, granted, but they're like
Yeah,
stocky, like football players stocky.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
but we had a good team, man. Oh my God, we had a pretty like amazing team. We could have. I felt like we could have won the whole thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But coming from the west side of the country, to the big city was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah,
I mean, to
yeah,
play like
yeah,
with guys that actually, because come to think about it, Laser Hill was exposed to a lot of like good exposure. They had good exposure, right?
yeah, yeah.
You know,
Laser Hill has always been in the forefront. Yes, sir. Yeah.
so
Well,
so for a person like me, it was like one of those moments that you know you're not gonna get it back again because you got to show these guys, although they are in a big city. I mean, we can still hoop.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you gotta have a chip on your shoulder, man, and that's the same thing for. So I know the transition. So for me, getting to the states, I had to have someone who helped me get to the states. How was the transition from Africa, Kenya to you came from South Sudan, you go to South Africa, man, you have moving a lot to Kenya, and then you eventually end up in the states. How is that transition for you? Like, who helps you navigate all that, and so you land in the states?
I mean, you might know this dude named Alibaba Abel.
Able,
He's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's like a Cameroonian dude. He's one of the really cool dudes actually, and he had a
Yeah,
friend. The transition was like hard as hell, man. It's like a culture shock, you know.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know, I came. I mean, in Nairobi, you can just go to a restaurant and know exactly what you want to order.
Yeah.
When I moved, when I like, here it's like there's like 100 like of different. I mean, in the menu, you can have a lot in the menu, but you don't really know what kind of food they got. You know,
Yes. Yes.
to me, I can go to a Kenyan restaurant and be like, oh, I want ugali and sukuma wiki and nyama. That's
And you're
pretty
good.
much it. Yeah, no need for like appetizers and all of that in between.
Yeah. You want cheese? You want mayo? You want this? I'm
No,
like,
no,
no.
man. I mean, it took a lot for me to get used to that, and
Yes.
and 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 especially being like from South Sudan, I already had a lot of disadvantages.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like especially growing up, you never had like, you know, a- I mean, a lot of Sudanese relate to this story. Either you never had the dad that will like be there as a role model, or a mom that can. You have to figure everything out by yourself when you get to certain places.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just had to use every opportunity that I got, man.
Man, I hear you, man, and it's tough because sometimes sometimes you talk to people and people are like, "Man, you lucky you go to the States." I'm like, "Man, I'm lucky, but the transition is brutal."
Hey,
Because
I
when
gotta
I
tell
got here,
people.
hey,
Uh,
when I got here, there was one cat who was at the school who was from Kenya. So he was at the school I played at. So I would always order food after him, and whatever he said, I'll be like, I want just like him. Like, I would say I just want just like him. Like whatever he's eating, I'm
oh
getting
my
the same.
God. Oh my God. I mean, for me, like for me, like few months in the United States, I had to eat McDonald's a lot because all you got to do in McDonald's, you just go to McDonald's and be like, okay, I want number four. You don't
Yeah.
need any explanation or anything like that, and they will give you number
Yes.
four, nothing else to it.
Yeah.
But after a while, you kind of get used to culture. I mean, United States doesn't have a culture like that,
Yeah.
but you kind of get used to the lifestyle and how people, react to each other and stuff like that. But it took me a while to get used to it. Even in
Yeah.
college, I was still so naive in college, man. It,
And
it
and
was
and I think also like our the way we are raised up also is different. It makes us also be hard to play, like to play basketball in the States. Like for example, in my country, for example, when the power figure talks to you, you don't look them in the eye, you look down, right? So when
right.
you get to the States, the coach is like, I'm talking to you and you're looking down.
Oh my God.
Look me in the eyes.
And 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 the weird thing is, for example, like you know how in college coaches will cuss at you and like yell at you. African coaches don't do them. People like me, we're not used to that kind of like hostile
Yeah,
environment. When you
yeah.
messed up on the court, the coach will like grab you by your jersey and said, "Sit the f down, you son of a b." All of that,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
It's shocking.
yeah, it's shocking, and like even when someone talks to you, you always look down. You look down when someone is talking to you, and here the coach
Right,
is like,
right.
"I'm talking to you. Look at me," and you're like, "What do you mean?" Like I was told never to look, to disobey authority. So, man,
But
I know it's crazy, man. I try to talk, and the reason I do this podcast, man, is to share stories like you and so like the transition and all that, because it's not just about basketball. There's a lot which comes with it. Even you moving from South Sudan to the States. Did you have anybody you knew over there? Did you know anybody like who are you staying with when you get there? Was there somebody to pick you up at the airport? Or
hey, I gotta tell you, man. I gotta tell you what, man. So this is a funny story, man. I don't think anybody ever been in that kind of tough situation before like that.
yeah,
But Ebo was the one who took me to the airport, to Jomo Kenyatta International Airport when I left Kenya, right? And
yeah, yeah.
his friend named Oliver supposed to pick me up at JFK in New York. Bro, I'm coming from Africa in February, which is like in the middle of the winter, right? So there's snow everywhere and it's like negative, I don't know, 10 degrees. I came from a sunny side of the world to
Yeah.
where like you have to like put on so many layers, to just get outside. I got to the airport in the morning, bro, and the only thing that I have was a number, and the number was the high school head coach number from North Carolina. So
Yes.
I really didn't know what I was gonna do with that, to be honest. So I called the number, and the dude was like, "I'm in North Carolina, man. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, not you in New York.
I'm in New York, but right at the airport. I didn't have anything. You know the routine when you leave from Africa to United States. Your relatives will take everything that you own.
Yeah.
The only thing you can come with is like your flip flops and a backpack. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty
And
it. That's it.
and that's all I got when I got to the airport, not knowing that I was about to freeze to death. And
Yeah.
the dude didn't show up, man. The dude that was supposed to pick me up didn't show up. And apparently there was a blizzard that like was pretty terrible. When I got to the house, he told me there was a blizzard and his car couldn't start. So the airport police have to put me in a taxi
Wow.
to drive from JFK to New Jersey. And man, oh my God, I'm telling you, I couldn't feel my hands or my feet for 3 hours, bro. It was terrible. Oh my God. I
Ma-
went to the house. He showed me the room that I was supposed to go and sleep in, and I went under the blankets and not get up once. And I was so cold. And if I could have stayed at the airport for another hour or so, I could have been like, forget this. I'm going back to Africa.
Man, I know, and it's crazy. You say the backpack and flip flops, and that's exactly how I was when I was leaving Kenya. And my coach, and my
Oh,
coach,
dude.
the coach was bringing me over. He looked at me and he was like, his name is Tony Morley. He looked at me and he was like, man, where your bags at? Like, I ain't got no bags. So he brought me some like sweatpants and put them in a brown leather suitcase for me. And that's
Oh
all I
my
came
God.
off with. Yeah, I didn't have anything else, man. I didn't have anything else, bro. So I
I
can
mean
relate
that
to that.
that African people are like African parents kind of thing. Like coming to United States is something that is like, oh, my son is automatically gonna be like a wealthy person. But there's a process to it, man, and that
Yeah.
process can take a few years.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So
Especially
you kind of relate.
I relate, man. I relate because I remember when I came over, everybody was like, "Man, you're doing well. Your son is in the States." I'm like, man, I'm trying to figure this thing out. I ain't got no money. I ain't got nothing. I don't know where to start. But I was fortunate. I got some people in my corner who really helped me in the transition. What happens to you when you get there? Did you have people who try to help you out in the
Uh,
transition? Because that's always the case, man.
that's always the case. Yeah. When I got here, though, it was a little different. So New York, I mean, I didn't necessarily like live in New York. New York. This dude was based in, I would say, New Jersey. It's pretty
Yeah,
close to Elizabeth High School in New Jersey. Um, when I got there, I didn't know anybody. I knew the dude, but
yeah.
the guy was like a pimp, man. This dude would leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. He doesn't get home till like midnight. And I just got here from Africa. I don't know what I'm doing. There is no food. There was a point that I went like a day and a half without not eating anything, man. I was so hungry, my whole body kind of just like shaky. And I just got off like a long ass flight too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was like, oh, if this is what basketball is gonna get me, I could have just stayed in Africa and go to like a local university and get a local job, and
Yeah,
forget about the basketball.
yeah.
But after that, he kind of like pulled his shit together and called a few calls, and then before I knew it, I was transferred to Florida, you know, like and met this random dude that actually like on he doesn't like he's not a high school coach. He's not actually about a basketball coach per se, but
Yeah.
he owned like an AAU team.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
So apparently here, if you own an AAU team, like a lot of NBA
Travel.
players invest in that, and
Yeah.
the owner get a lot of money. So I was playing for this AAU team, and then I decided to like go and play for another team in Orlando, Florida, and all of a sudden this dude like took my passport, man. So I mean, without a passport, if you are like international student or like you come from a different country, United States, you got to have your documents right. You know,
Yeah,
although
yeah, you
although you
have
have a
to.
document from the school, you still need your passport to be able to move around and go and buy stuff. Like,
Yeah,
if you need to buy things.
yeah.
So I didn't have and he said he didn't have my passport. And I was like, man,
Come on,
I'm
man.
not. I know you did this on purpose, man. So I had to just leave, and I mean, I just had to get on a flight to Los Angeles from Florida, and
Yeah.
then once I got to Los Angeles, I couldn't play. I only played like 1 year, and then within that time frame, actually, I had to go back to Africa, and I had to go all the way to Sudan to get a new passport. And
Wow.
when I got to like Sudan, obviously I'm Sudanese. By how you look at me, somebody would be like, "Okay, you skinny, tall,
You
you Sudanese."
know,
So
but you don't look like you from here. You Where you from, man? Where you from?
yeah, man, I got into Khartoum, which is like Khartoum used to be like the main city for
Yeah,
Sudan. So I
yeah.
got into Khartoum airport, and all of a sudden, these two police officers approaching me. They were speaking Arabic to me, and they asking me. The only thing I can understand is passport, passport. And I was like, I mean, I have a document from my school. I have a document from the U.S. consulate. So I don't know what else you guys need from me.
Yeah,
And I'm also on top of that, I'm a citizen of this country.
yeah.
And they
I'm
were,
born and I'm born here.
yeah, and they were like, and one of them who pretend to like know English kind of tell me, "You outcast." And I was like, "Bro, I don't know what you mean by the outcast, man." So that kind of went south, and
Yeah,
then I
yeah.
had to like I had to bribe them, and then man, that took forever. That took like
Man.
8 hours of like talking to like random people. But as you talk to people, you got to bribe your way around to get to the top boss. You know,
Yes, yes.
so I went with a few $100, and then by the time I left the airport, I don't have any cash on me. So and obviously, if you've never been to Sudan before, it's really hard to get that ATM once you leave the airport.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get any money. And then I had to leave to go to Wow, where my dad was, to go and get a new passport and be able to support myself financially. So I had to call people in the United States and be like, "Oh, you got to go to my bank account and send this money to this." That was some weird shit, though.
Yeah.
Like I I had to call my friend here to give him information about my bank information, and then he have to go to U.S. Bank to withdraw money out, and then he got to go and transfer that money to another Somalian bank, and that Somalian bank got to transfer it to like Sudanese bank. It's just like
But it was tough though. But we've come a long ways from those days. But it was tough, man. Like I remember, like even just the visa process for us was like rough, man. Like the visa process just to get a visa. We
man,
had to
you
wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go
in the
line up
morning.
by
Ev-
the internet by the roundabout at the railways.
yes. Abel and I used to wake up like by 2:30 in the morning and be like, okay, we gotta go to U.S. Embassy. We gotta go to and bro, and they don't need you there that early, but
But the
they
line,
just make you wait. Yeah,
but the
it's
li- but the line, they only take so many people in the day, and if you're not amongst the first 100,
yeah,
you're
you
out of
done.
luck.
Bro, I mean, I'm hoping that right now the process changes, because
Oh,
right now
it's great.
the basketball world is still changing right now, because it doesn't matter where you play basketball, as long as you're good, somebody's gonna find you.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And people that take advantage of like people like us and you, I know for a fact that somebody took advantage of us, in the process. But at the same time, I know that it kind of gave me opportunity to graduate from college. You know,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
I am the first one in my entire, I would probably say, clan, or tribe, I
wow.
would probably say, to graduate from university. So
Yeah,
I'm I don't kind of dwell on that.
yeah, yeah. You can't take that to heart, man. It's what it is. You
It
understand.
is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're the one making that transition. We're the ones who are daring to go that journey. You
Right,
know, what I mean,
right, right.
it's not. They didn't force us to get on that journey. It's something we made up the mind to get on that journey. So it's what it is. The reason I say it's what it is because at the end of the day, I made that decision to get on that journey. I
Right,
could have
right.
opted to stay home and be like, man,
Be
I
like,
ain't
yeah,
doing that.
forget it. Yeah,
Forget it.
yeah.
So yeah. So, but it ends up well. It ends for me. It's a great story. Ended well. I'm happy for you, man. I see you every day. I might look at you, and then I follow you on Facebook. I'm like, man, my man doing good. But game wise, let's talk about the basketball transition though. What was the
Uh,
biggest surprise and biggest transition for you? Like when you started playing here, what was one thing you were like, wow, I never knew that. Oh,
like first of all, as we just kind of mentioned a little bit, was like coaches being over your face, like
yeah,
cursing you out and all of that. That
yeah,
that was a big surprise for me when I started my freshman year in college. I didn't know that. I never seen a coach like get so mad that they just pick up like a seat and throw it at the players. And I was like, wow. And
yeah,
my African side would be like, bro, if I see you on the street, I'll beat the hell out of you.
yeah,
But being in America, be like, yeah, there's lawsuits that comes with it. There's arrest, and then you gotta go to prison and all. Especially if you're a black man here, it's a little
yeah,
different.
yeah,
So, and the second thing was like how physical everything is. Everything. The American basketball focus on physicality. They
yeah,
they don't
yeah,
really. A lot of coaches will try to build their players, but throughout what I've been through on the basketball world, these coaches focus a lot on how strong you are and how quick can you get something done and stuff like that. They don't really focus your strong point.
yeah,
So they don't work on that. And it's maybe it's just me. I don't know about you.
yeah,
Your where you went to school might be different.
yeah,
So that's another thing that's a big shock to me. And the third thing is another big shock to me is how like African American and like white people in this country think like we African that came to this country, we don't have houses that we sleep in. Like people think that we sleep in huts and we fight lions, bare hand, and all of that. That was a big shock to me. That was a pretty big shock to me, man. So those
yeah, but
things are like, yeah,
yeah, but like we talk about maybe like so like when I came, it was like '97. There was no really internet was just coming up. I think the internet was just coming out, so there was
yeah,
no really. The only thing they saw was what like on TV or videos of people who went, and obviously the people who go to like Africa don't go to, they go on a mission trip. They go like in the interior. They go on a safari, and
yeah.
that's what people would see back here. So I understand, but things have changed a lot, man.
Things
Things have
change a
changed.
lot, bro.
Things
And
have
when
changed a lot.
one thing I learned too, a lot of Americans don't know world history. They they
Yeah,
they just assume that. I mean, and I say that as an African, I can't just let somebody say, "Oh, you from Africa? What part?" And I'll be
yeah,
like, I would probably say East side of Africa or West Africa or South Africa or something like that. But they'll be like, "Oh, they have." We just thought Africa is one country and they just have a. And I was like, "Come on, bro." You like a civilized part of the world and you don't really know the map of the world. Even my own coach in college didn't know like Sudan is actually a country within Africa. You know,
yeah, yeah. But
so
it's a long time back, man. It's a
it
long
is, man.
time back, man. It's a long time. We didn't have Google, man. If it's not on Google,
Right, right.
it's not the truth.
But a lot of ignorant people right now are getting educated, especially with the new technology. Like,
Oh yeah,
if you see somebody ignorant, you just expose them right then. Be like, okay, bro, you are like ignorant as hell. Just if you don't know this and this. So I'm glad everything is changing it right now. But some of us too are still like experiencing that. Even if like things are changing, you know that, and I know that we live here, so
yeah,
we
yeah,
still
yeah,
knows that. But
yeah. But but I gotta give it to you, man. You came over here, man. I had the pleasure to play with you, man. I had the pleasure to play with you in Kenya, man. When we were playing for COP. Man, those are some
Yeah.
good.
Oh my God.
those,
Oh my
those,
God. That was a fun time. I gotta say though.
no, I had a crazy time playing with you, man. We had some fun on that basketball court, man.
Yeah. Uh, for people like us, especially we already born like being in disadvantaged kind of situation. So we don't really, for like for example, me myself, I use basketball as a tool to kind of like get to where I want to get. And in this country, I know after college, I know I'm not gonna get those opportunities like that. So
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go ahead and use what my purpose was. And my purpose was to stay in college for 4 years and get a degree. You know, because
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
you can't in Africa. It's very hard for a lot of kids to go to college because
Yeah, yeah.
it's a lot of
A
money,
lot of money.
and
Yeah, expensive.
yeah, and if you get that free, free way to go to college, you got to utilize that.
Yeah,
Everything
you get.
else, my mindset was like everything else will come after I graduate from college. If I have opportunities with basketball, it will come from after I graduate from college. But even, but one thing too, I did realize in the United States is when you're an athlete, everybody will, will kind of give you that, free pass and all of that. But after you're done playing basketball,
Yeah,
especially if you come from Africa, they'll be like, bro, where are your documents, your immigration documents? Like, how long you gonna be staying here?
yeah,
It's just those kind of questions, and they're not they're not polite about it. They're coming after you until you prove like you got to be a resident of this country.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's one thing that African are going through a lot in United States. It's not easy.
It's been tough. It's tough. It's a tough journey, man. It's a tough journey. Even for a lot of players from African origin, even foreigners. You come and you play basketball, and then you're finishing school. You're caught in that like, do I go play basketball overseas or do I stay here? Like, you're caught with that. You're like, if I leave, how do I come back? So a lot of
Right.
people just the careers just end right there.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I had a big debate about it because I came back from Bolivia,
Yeah,
and I just got and the coach said if you come back to play for me, I'll give you this contract, and the money sounds pretty good. It's like tempting, and I was like, shit. I mean,
I gotta go.
I can go and play, but
Yeah,
so what if the season's over? Like, how am I supposed to, you know,
get back.
like, yeah. And it's something that I had to wrestle with it about. Yeah, I mean, I was debating so much, man, because when somebody just like give you a contract when just like you're gonna be paid this much every month, you'd be like, come on, man. But what if I don't come back? My whole career is just gonna go down the drain. It's tough. It's really tough. So I
It's
had to
tough.
just be like, and back then we had Trump. Trump just became a president too.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was like, okay, this is a big decision, and
yeah,
my residency was pending, and
yeah,
I was told if I leave the country for 6 months, I can't come back even if I appeal. So I
yeah,
was like,
yeah.
oh goodness, I can't do that. I
I
can't
can't
do
do that.
that. And then a year and a half later, I got my residency, and then the assistant coach kind of reached out to me, and then I was like, yeah, I'll be down to come. And the coach was like, yeah, we got a pretty good player, so we
We
don't
good.
we good right now unless you accept this contract. And I was like, I can make that money working at
Yeah,
the office, man. You know.
yeah, yeah.
So I was like,
Exactly.
forget it. I'm not gonna do that. So I just kind of just settled down and my girlfriend, who is my wife right now, she was undergrad, and when I was I think when I was a senior, she was a senior too. And then when I graduated, she started like her master's degree. So and then we had to move to the Midwest, which is a big mistake actually. It's not a big mistake based on the decision, but it's a big mistake because man, place is cold as hell.
I never live in Texas, bro.
Man, we just had like a negative 20 degrees the other day for no
Oh,
reason.
I'm not living Texas, bro. I'm not living Texas. We have winter once in a while. That's it.
Yeah, I was like, how did I leave California, man? I mean, we were living in San Francisco, which is a perfect weather. It's just San Francisco weather kind of remind me of Nairobi. Nairobi
Yeah.
is not it's not extremely hot and it's not cold. It's just that weather that you can dress however you want to dress,
Oh yeah, the weather
and
is
that's how.
great.
Yeah,
Great
it is
weather.
great, man. So
Great
I
weather,
can't.
man.
Man, I came to Minneapolis and they have to buy a winter jacket. When you put it on, you feel like you just put on 30 pounds. It's crazy, man. It is crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting times, man. Like everything is just happening, man. I don't know if you've been following everything that's going back on in Africa with basketball, Afro basketball. I don't know if you see how your country moving, man. Your country's gonna
Yeah.
be. Hey, South Sudan is
Oh,
gonna be a problem, bro. South Sudan is gonna be a problem, man.
I follow the African basketball. I saw South Sudan when they were playing Kenya at Nyayo,
Yeah,
and I was following that live actually.
that was
Um,
crazy, though. That was
but
crazy.
my thing is, African basketball. It shouldn't be just starting right now.
Yeah, yeah,
That's like when I look at it, I'll be like, oh my God, like we got so much talent,
yeah,
long. And when I was in Kenya, people used to say American height, and then I came to United States, I was like, hell no. They're like tall as African people. You can't just say American height. You got to take credit for your height, man. And,
yeah,
and 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 the reason I say to basketball in Africa shouldn't be where it is right now. They got the tools, they got everything. They should have promoted the basketball programs like a long time ago. By now, we could have been like in a different league, instead of just like trying, like starting a new. But you can see the talent.
yeah.
You see South Sudan team, you saw Kenyan team, and it's you'd be like, okay, if these countries have these players already, what other players are like just don't get opportunities around? You know,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
it's something that I kind of question myself. I I took a year off from coaching because my son was born, so I had to take a year off. But in the summer, I'm gonna try to go back in coaching, and I'm gonna try to like recruit a lot of players from Africa to play for my AAU team.
Yeah, that's what you gotta do, man. You gotta reach out, bring one more, bring one out.
Yeah,
You gotta
yeah, right.
bring
As
one
long you
more
have
out,
that, that's
one
what it's
more
something
out.
that my wife and I talked to. I talked to my wife about, and my wife was like, "How are you gonna do that?" And I was like, "I don't know. Even if I have to be a pos, and like even if I have to foster some kids at my house,
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
probably do that. It would be probably like a better situation than what you and I have been in.
yes,
If
yes,
you have
yes.
that role model who came from the same continent as you and knows like what's up with the basketball world."
And even who knows the pitfalls, who understands the system and understands the pitfall. Because I think, I think the biggest mistake we, as a lot of African players, make is that we don't have that mentorship. We don't believe in mentorship, and there's not really that big brother when you get here. Like in college, in the States, when you go to college, there's the seniors who help the freshmen. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And
right,
then
right.
the people help you navigate. Hey, don't do that. Don't. Hey, that's you're gonna get in trouble. If you do this, you're gonna get into trouble. Don't do that. Here's what you. And I think that's what we lack, man. When I look at all the players coming up here, is you find a players coming up here and they really think they are talented, but when they get on the team, it's like, wow, I'm not that good. Or the coach, because of seniority, and you just got there, it's like you ain't gonna play that many minutes. You're gonna play 10 minutes this year. Then you got on your minutes, and a lot of us don't understand that. And so it's like we make rash decisions. We stop playing. We stop working out. We fall off the team, and it's
Right, right,
unfortunate.
right. That's kind of like a system that none of us was exposed to.
Yeah,
In United States, as you said, as you mentioned, in United States, if you come into college as a freshman on the team, bro, you're gonna have to work your ass off to gain coaches trust to even give you 5 minutes in a game.
unless you're
It
very
doesn't.
good. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. If you like an All American and like McDonald's All American kind of player who's gonna be one and done, that's a whole
yeah,
different story. But
yeah.
But if you just like a typical recruit that just came in, bro, for college coaches, they don't give a damn about what you think. I mean,
You
American
might
college
be.
coaches, they don't care what you think.
Yeah, yeah.
They're
You
gonna
gotta
try
prove
like,
yourself.
yeah, and if you don't want to like do what they say, their punishment is always take the minutes away from you.
Yeah,
You can
yeah,
get mad as you, I mean, you can get mad all you want, but you're
yeah,
never gonna see the floor. And that's
yeah,
something that some of us have to like learn in a hard way. You know, be like, you know, and a lot of African people, they will not go to the coaches and be like, Coach, I haven't got to play today. Like, what happened? Like, what
what
do you
happened?
expect
Yeah,
me to do? Yeah, and we don't
what do you want
have
me to?
that. We
No,
don't do
no,
that.
yeah,
It's something that I have to learn. It. Oh my God! At sophomore year, I was like, what's going on, man? At sophomore year, I was about to transfer to different school.
yeah,
And one of my friend named Curtis Sanders was like, bro, it's gonna be the same. It's not gonna change. And the reason I actually stayed was because one of my friends transferred to University of Nevada because he didn't get playing minutes, so he transferred to Nevada. But the same shit happened to him. So I was like, okay. So
yeah,
I had to just like be like, okay, coach, what do you want me to do? Like, what do you think? What do you want me to work on? Or, and then they will tell you. I mean,
yeah,
because
yeah,
college coaches here, like, they're like untouchable. You know, they will
yeah.
tell you, and they don't give a damn about your feelings. They'll be like, if you terrible, they'll be like, you just terrible at everything.
I need you
But
to do
yeah,
it.
but if they want you to do a specific thing, they will tell you, okay, we're gonna like work at the practice. The practice is gonna be like set up the way, like, you know, to help you improve at at the specific area that you got to work on. If they want you to work on rebound, you know, and that's a good thing about college here. They have all of those things that can help you with trainings and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And if they want you to be strong, they have a weight trainer that will like take care of like your weight training, and they have a nutritionist that will make sure like what type of food you will eat, you know, to gain weight if they want you to gain weight and get stronger. So
yeah,
those things that I found out in a hard way. You know, I had to like kind of like be like, okay, I'm just gonna have it like I gotta have a like, you know, mental toughness, and like instead of, you know, acting like proud, like, because when I came out of high school, I was a highly recruited player, you
18 and
know.
12, man. 18 and
Yeah,
12, bro. Come on,
man,
man.
I was highly recruited. I wasn't used to not like I wasn't used to like kissing people's asses to get minutes. I wasn't used to that. But
Yeah,
in college, you gotta just like, you know, be like, okay, everybody here, they have record in their school. That's the one thing in college too. Like everybody
yeah,
you teammate with, they probably broke some records, you know, and you just
yeah,
ended up being on one team. So coach have like the best players that he can get. You're not the only best player on the court, you know.
yeah,
And if the coach tells you you're not working on this, you're gonna have to listen to him, and otherwise, like your whole, and if you know, if the minute thing gets to you, you will have a mental breakdown, and the whole college basketball thing will just like be a kind of different, because that's how I view it as a freshman, because I
yes,
wasn't getting enough minutes, and I was like, man, forget this. I'm not gonna give it 100%. You know,
yeah. I'm already not
so
playing.
yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not even gonna play. Or sometime I will come late at the practice and be like, yeah, I just got out of the class pretty late. And coaches knows everything. They have your
they know their
schedule.
schedule. They have their
Yeah.
schedule.
So they're not gonna talk to you about that, but they will talk to themselves, you know, and be like,
Yeah,
okay, this dude got attitude problems, or he got
yes,
discipline problems, and stuff like that. So being a college player, it's kind of like, you know, being in a boot camp. You know,
yeah,
you got to follow every policy, every drill, everything that the instructor tell you.
yeah.
So we didn't have that as African players. We don't have that.
We don't have
And
that structure, even in practices, man. We don't have that structure. You know, coaches in practice on his phone, man. Coach is talking on his phone in practice. Go
uh,
1-on-0. You know, his coach is
you're
on the
right,
phone.
man, man. I've
He's-
seen that in Kenya. I mean, I played in Kenya. I played in Kenya
yeah,
for a few years, so I do know. I do know. Even at KPA, you know, our coach, he was a cool dude.
yeah.
But even during the game, he would probably like try to talk about like a story that's not related to the game, and that doesn't happen here like that, though. I mean, coaches here treat that like a professional job. They will have ties and all of
Yes,
this, you know,
yes,
and,
yes,
and
yes.
So it's some. I mean, right now, I think African basketball is changing, which is
Oh, it's
going
changing. Yeah, yeah,
into a positive direction,
yeah.
and that's what I was saying. This shouldn't like just happen like
Taking that
recently.
long.
Yeah, come
Yeah,
on,
but again,
man. You got
but
giants in Africa, man.
but you got again, we gotta give shout out where it's due, man. Like that's why I give shout out to like NBA Africa, NBA, the program they are doing about the league, the league in Africa, Giants of Africa, going there and scouting for players, bringing them to the States. There's some great things going on, man. But let's talk about your recruitment because I know you are very highly recruited, man. And Gonzaga was in the mix. Man, I think Louisville, Kentucky was in the mix. How do you
Hey
end up at
yo,
Cal Berkeley, man?
okay. That is that's kind of like a different story. As you know, as I said, my whole goal was to kind of like get education
Education,
as an
yes.
as an African.
Yeah,
Your parents don't really give a shit about sport.
they don't even
They
care. They
want you
don't
to
even
be
know.
yeah,
Doctor. Be a doctor.
what a doctor, lawyer, somebody that can work in the government settings or something like that.
Yeah,
So UC Berkeley is like a highly ranked academic university, and
yeah.
it's a public school.
I know. I know. Geniuses come from there, man.
So I start like after my AAU season. I was like, okay, this is my last year, so I'm gonna have to put in, I'm gonna have in order to like to be because my school that I was eyeing was Duke. You know,
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah.
I gotta go to Duke, man.
I gotta go to Catch A.
I gotta play with Coach K because like in the United States, they just put that dude like a god, bro. That dude's like a god in college basketball.
He
It's
win
like
though. He win
he
though. He
does
win
win,
though.
and he produced a lot of players too to go to the NBA. So every
Yeah,
kid in high school be like, "Oh, I got to play under Coach K."
yeah,
So Duke and North Carolina were the schools that I was shooting for, and then Louisville and Kentucky came in, but I didn't. I mean, Kentucky, I was like, "Come on, man! I live in California. You want me to go to school in Kentucky?" And it's and then when I now look back, I felt like it's the way that the people around me kind of portray the state of Kentucky,
yeah, yeah,
just because of who I am, like as a black
yeah,
dude, as an African dude, they
yeah,
kind of, the way they tell me is like, oh, you're not gonna survive over there, bro. You know,
yeah,
so I was like, okay, what other school? And then Gonzaga came in, and I was like,
yeah,
Gonzaga was before now, back in the day with Mark Few. Mark Few was just building that program up. You know, it was a
yeah.
pretty, it was a mid-major. Gonzaga wasn't like highly ranked
It
when it comes
wasn't
to college
Gonzaga
basketball.
now.
It
Yeah,
wasn't Gonzaga right now.
yeah,
So, and I was like, maybe for somebody like me with my basketball skill sets, maybe I would fit in Gonzaga program. So, and that was the school that I actually was going to commit to, and then and the UCLA kind of have like these rumors that was going on with the coach that I actually like. So I
yeah,
was like, yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that one.
yeah.
So and then all of a sudden, I was gonna call Gonzaga to like verbally commit to Gonzaga, and I received a call from University of California, Berkeley. Granted, I have no idea what the school was. I don't know where they are. I don't know. They just say UC Berkeley or Cal, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay. I had to do my own research, but the family that I lived with knew the school,
Yes.
and when I showed them the letter that they offer, they were like, "Oh, okay, your mama would be proud for you to go to that school." And
That's where you need to go.
I was like, "What?" And they were like,
It's a
"Basketball is
great
gonna end
academic
in 10
school.
years." Yeah, and
Yeah.
they literally told me basketball is gonna end in like 10 years. What are you gonna
Yes.
do after that? You know,
Yes.
you gotta go to Berkeley, and I was like, okay. So I had to like just write Berkeley and Gonzaga, and then there was a third school in like a piece of paper, and just wrap it and just like just roll it. Then I picked Berkeley
Man.
twice, so I was like, yeah, okay. And before I commit, I was like, okay, now I gotta go like on official bit, like to go to Berkeley, kind
Visit.
of see the
Yeah.
kind of
School.
see like how the school is. Bro, I got there. It's the most hippest town you can possibly find in America.
Yeah.
Everybody there is a hippie. like literally. Have you ever seen like the 70 hippies in the United States? Like
Yeah,
peace,
yeah,
and everybody smoked like weed out there. I mean, I thought we had a lot of homeless people in Africa, and then I walk on the street in Berkeley. There's a major street called Telegraph,
yes,
and then I look at that family, and I was like, I am not coming to this school because
yeah,
you can get robbed going to class.
yeah,
And they were like, no, these people are like these are like not they're like hippies. They're high as hell. They don't know what they're talking about. They're just like, dude, bro.
yeah,
So I did my visit, and then they offered me a scholarship like right away on my visit. And then I learned this as I actually moved to Berkeley, because if a school within your conference is recruiting a player that like they really want, the other school can offer them just to fuck up the whole process thing.
yeah,
It's something that in the United States, you know, if you're
yeah,
getting recruited by UCLA, Stanford is going to offer you scholarship just to mess with
yeah,
UCLA.
yeah.
So, and I felt like that's how my process went, because there was a school in Pac-12 that wanted me, and Cal offered me. It was Oregon State, and
Oregon
Cal
State, yeah, yeah,
yeah, and Cal offered me like a scholarship right away, and be like, oh, you got a scholarship. If you want, it's yours. And
yeah,
then so I was like, how long do I have? And they were like, oh, you have until you finish your regular season, then you're coming straight to school. So I was like, okay. So I went back home with the family and kind of just talked to them, and I was like, so now is this a good look? And they were like, well, if they're paying for your whole ride, I don't know. So in
And you don't
American,
know better. And you don't know
yeah,
better also. Yeah, yeah,
I didn't know better. I didn't have any mentor that would like walk me. I mean, my high school coach, you know, tried to help with the whole process, but he wasn't a legal guardian. He wasn't like somebody that related to me, or he wasn't
yeah,
somebody that, you know, knows in the community as somebody taking care of me. He's just a high school coach.
yeah.
So, you know, the parents, those parents were like, hey, we have two boys and we don't know how we're going to pay for their college.
That's right.
So you don't
That's
have a
right.
parent here, and
Yes.
like the most like the best school in the country just gave you a scholarship just because you're an athlete. That's like what? So, and they're not like, they were very surprised. So
Yeah, yeah.
I took the scholarship, man, and I went, and one of the guys that was in charge of the incoming freshmen, who work at the athletic department office, was a Somalian dude. His name is Mohammed, and then he just kind of like, I talked to him, and then he talked to me, and this guy, man, we hit it off right away, and be like, bro, I just came back from Kenya. My mom and dad live in Kenya. My dad live in Eastleigh. My mom live in Kinani, and I was like, what?
What? You're like, man, we bros
I
now.
was
I'm at home now.
yeah. And then he explained everything about Nairobi, and oh my God. And one of the restaurants that I go to in Nairobi, like by Yaya Center, and I was
Yeah.
like, you know that place? And he was like, bro, I'm African. I mean, and I
That's
was
where I
like,
go when I go.
oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
And once I met Muhammad, everything about Cal at the school just kind of changed. And then
Yes.
within a week, I kind of just realized the school is like an international kind of school. They have like a lot of international students. You know, I
Yeah.
met
Yeah.
people from Eritrea, I met people from Kenya, I met people from Somalia, Ethiopia, you know, West. And I was like, okay, this kind of feel a little home. Even one of my friends in college that I met one of the days was like, "Are you from Africa?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then they kind of took me to to go to their house, and they cook ugali, and you know, and then they made
Man,
some like nyama choma, and I was like, "Bro,
this is where I need to be.
right, right." But that's the weird thing though. The first 2 weeks was like they introduced me to all African that goes in that school. That the first 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then after that, training start. Man, you don't have time after
Time
that.
to see them.
Yeah, you don't really have time. And
Yeah.
then I came to school in June, we don't start until like end of August.
Yeah.
That's when the first actual um, practice start. But you, as a team, you're not supposed to be in one gym as a team with coaches. So
Yeah, 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 yeah.
they kind of break it down based on position. Like big man will be in on Monday,
Yeah.
little man will be in on Tuesday, and then wings and all of that. So, bro, I couldn't like, I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to the schedule where like I get up in the morning or at like 4:30 to go for weight training, or if it's not weight training, you gotta run like at least a few miles, man. And that's the worst part of basketball, you know. And then after that, you come back, eat breakfast, go to class, and then after class, you come start the practice, and then after practice, you got to go to the weight room to hit the weight. And that's what I was saying. Like American basketball is like around how strong you are, whereas in
Yes.
the other part of the world, they kind of like focus on your skills and what you can provide.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was a big change.
Yeah.
You know, and once you're in college, everything from your schedule, your class schedule, you figure out by your own. You know,
Yeah. It's
everything is
tough.
new, but yeah,
Across your journey, man, you've traveled, you've been in different situations, man, life, death situations, man. What one piece of advice can you tell your young self if you're looking back to ball and be like, man, back, think this is what you could have done different, man. What do you think you could have done different along your journey, man?
you know, throughout my journey in life, man, one thing I would say as from South Sudan, obviously, I don't know where I'm from. That's the first thing, but doesn't cancel me as a human being.
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I'm I, I still have a family. I have a place to live. I have a job. So no matter where you're from, no matter where you end up, especially being a basketball player, one thing I would probably say is you gotta have that strong mindset, man. You know, you gotta be like, okay, this is my goal. And a lot of us, even Peter, you know that a lot of us that went to college, our first goal was to graduate from college. Everything
yes,
else is gonna come.
yes,
So you're gonna have to have that specific goal set and be like, okay, this is the goal that I gotta go to. And there are no shortcuts.
no,
You're
no,
gonna
no,
have that tough mindset. You know, if you kind of if something happened to you and get down on yourself and be like, oh my God, I could have did this and this and this. That's gonna ruin like your career. It's gonna ruin your life.
yeah,
If something happened to you, man, we're African. We have thick skin. That's what I usually tell. I mean, when
yeah,
I'm a coach, and they will ask me like, "Oh, we read about your life story and all of this and this," and I was like, "I'm from Africa. We don't break easily like that, you
yeah,
know."
yeah,
So it's something that you're gonna have to have a strong mindset. You're gonna have a goal set, and that goal. Once you get to that goal, everything else kind of like comes pretty easy. Because my goal was to graduate from college. Once I graduate from college, from there I can decide should I keep playing basketball, and if it's like too hard for me and I don't want to go through the struggles and all of that again, I'll be like, forget it. I'm just gonna get a job and go to the office,
yeah,
which
yeah.
not a lot of people in Africa have that opportunity.
No,
It's like,
you have to count. You have to count your blessings, man. You have to count your
right,
blessings, man.
right. Especially coming from South Sudan, not. I mean, right now I'm the only person in my whole family that have a college degree. I'm the only person in my family that actually, you know, pay for everybody in my family to have a life that they wanted to live.
Yes.
And I see that as a blessing. It's not
Oh
like,
yeah, no doubt. No, you
it, it,
supporting your family, man. That's the biggest thing you can do, man.
yeah.
Who else
I
are you
mean,
supposed to support? Who else are you supposed to help, man? Your family.
right, right.
Yeah.
So if I didn't go through all of that struggle, I could have not opened my eyes and be like, okay, look at where my family is right now. What am I supposed to do? I could have not opened my eyes, but because of that struggle, it kind of built you to who you are at the end of the day. But
Yeah,
one thing
man.
that I have, I was like, I'm never gonna break down, no matter where I am. Even if I'm at the rock bottom, I'm never gonna break down.
Man, you can't afford to, man. But you're also doing a great job, man, working with them kids, with the youth, man. Tell me shortly about what you do, man. You work with inspiring youth, man.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is a job that I didn't think I wanted to do actually because I wanted to go back, get masters or get a PhD and try to get into college sport and stuff like that. But being an African person, um, it would be nice for me to be like a mentor for the youth, not only on the court, but off the court. If they need resources, if they need some certain support, and that's a good thing about this country too. If you need some resources, you can like get on the phone and like be like, oh, hey, can you guys help me with this situation and stuff like that? You will find somebody, especially in my
Yeah,
role, and I work with the county. I will get on the phone and call a certain program and be like, hey, I have a youth that need this kind of help, and can you guys help? And they'll be like, oh yeah, we can help, and they will do that. And that is something that I in the last 2 years I begin to love it. Like, okay, I didn't have that same experience when I was like here. I didn't have that person that will show me resources, will connect me with other stuff, be like, oh,
yes,
Bak, this would be a good program for you, or this would be a good program for you. I didn't have that person. But now, if I am that point person, you know, I mean, it paid my
yeah,
bill.
yeah, man, yeah. And you help, and you healthy, and you
Yeah, and
healthy.
I'm helping a lot. Like, there was a time that I had to like have a school meeting with one of the kids because they were with the principal, one of the kids, people from the county, and like somebody from Department of Education because the kid have a mental health problems
Yeah,
or he was diagnosed with PTSD, and I had to like be like, you can't kick him out of the school because of what happened. So stuff like that is like, okay, if that was me, I could have not have a person that fight for me.
yes, sir, yes, sir.
So, and a lot of my clients appreciate that. Some of them, they just like have a hard time grow. I mean, a hard like family life, which is happens.
It's, it's tough. It's tough. Even with everything going on, it's tough right now.
It,
Mental health has
it,
become like a big deal, man. Even now, you have to
it
check in. You have to
I
check
mean,
in with someone else, man.
man, come on, man. My wife and I have a lifestyle where we gotta walk at least 40 miles a week.
That's
Even
what I'm
though no
saying.
matter how,
You have
just
to. You
yeah,
have
just to
to.
release that stress. Yeah,
Yeah, you have to
yeah.
because it's crazy time. All the quarantine, you can't go here, you can't do that,
You can go
you can't do.
right, right.
It gets to you, man. It gets to you, and you have to check in and really check in your mental health and understand you need some time for you. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and the good thing about our job right now too, which I'm like very, very happy about it. I'm fortunate enough to have this job is like it's completely remote. I don't go anywhere. My office is based out of my house.
there you
So
go, there you go. Can't beat that.
sometimes now you can't beat that though. Sometimes
Yeah,
if you're running late, you don't have to especially right now it's cold as hell. You got to turn on the car for 30 minutes before you actually kind of drive.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's nice to have a job at home. So if I want to get on the computer, I would just roll out of the bed, get on the computer,
Yes,
talk to
sir.
people.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. Man, I appreciate it, man. It was nice hanging out with you, catching up with you, my brother. Man, you keep inspiring the youth, man. Keep doing what you do, man. And don't, as you're saying, reach out, man. Grab that other young Sudanese, South Sudan player, man. Bring him along. Bring him
right.
along, man. Let's reach back and let's bring this. Let's reach back and get these little kids back here, man. Let's get people in our
Yeah,
corners, man.
right. It's something that I am very passionate about, especially getting into like if I go after this year, I'm hoping that I should get another coaching job by the summer and actually kind of use that as a way to connect with a lot of people from Africa,
Yes,
and be
sir.
like, hey, And one thing I gotta tell a lot of African people, man, if you are an athlete, it's the one tool that can take you some places that you will never dream of going to. You
Man, you
know,
can say that again.
yeah. I mean,
Bouncing a
I never,
basketball, man. Bouncing a
right?
basketball, man. Come on, man. Get you
I mean,
school, get you everything you got, man, just because of bouncing a basketball.
I mean, that's what I'm saying right now. Like, that's what I keep telling my wife. We have my son about to turn a year old in like on the 20th, and I keep telling my wife, there's no way I'm paying for this bastard's college. You know, he's gonna have to figure something out. You
You
know,
got on it. You got soccer, some football, something. Do
yeah,
something.
something, right? I mean, even though you like academically smart, you can still get
Yeah,
a scholarship to go to college for that.
for academics.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he's gonna have to figure something out because otherwise he's gonna have like almost 150,000 in debt by the time he graduates.
Yes, sir. But
It's
man, yes, sir. It's been fun hanging out with you, Bak, man. I wish you well, man. Stay safe, man. Let's connect, man. Don't be a stranger, man. It was nice
uh,
catching up with you, my brother.
yeah, for sure, man. I will. Now I have your number. I can check in with you every now and again to see how you guys doing,
Yes, sir.
bro. I didn't know you were in Texas. I thought you kind of go back and forth to Kenya, back
Uh,
to Texas, but
man,
I didn't know you were. So I
yeah, I
just
mean,
assumed you were in Nairobi.
yeah, I just do a little. I just came back from home. I was back home for Christmas, so I normally like going back. I'm going back in April, hopefully. So coffee doesn't come all that. So we're gonna be on the ground in April in Kenya. Yeah,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
All right, man. Hey,
All
it's
right,
good catching
appreciate it,
up
my
with you,
brother.
bro.
Yes,
Yep,
sir.
yep.
Appreciate it, man.
All
I
right, man.
appreciate it,
All
man.
right.
It was nice catching up with you. I'm gonna talk to you later.
All right, man. You too.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. There you got it. There you got it, man. I had a great conversation with Bak Ball, man, from South Sudan. This dude, man, crazy story, man. But as you had it, man, he say, man, stay hard, stay grinding, stay blessed. This is my time. Till next one. Out.